So go ahead and state your full name for the camera.
Dr. Thomas Stanley Fortson. You know, when you say truth, I can give you my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and I can share based on my experience. I can add to the dialogue regarding segregation, regarding the integration, regarding living in an environment or a community that's diverse. I think growing up, for me, and again, this is my journey, looking back, I appreciated the fact that now that my community that I lived in was black, you know, and so the part of that strengthened us was the church, our history. We were proud. We had a local baseball team that competed with the white community, and so when they came to our community, you know, our field wasn't as good as theirs when we went to theirs, and so there was a great deal of pride in winning and losing, but we did it together as a community. And so learning about our past, when you look at as African Americans, what was our journey to America? How do you survive that journey across the Atlantic Ocean? So we look back on our history, and there's a great deal of strength in our history through segregation. You know, when you think about slavery, and I don't have to get into a lot about that, but when you think about what we came through, those years of slavery, then the years of freedom, then the our early education, and when you look at our current communities, there's a strength there when you look back on our history. And so we have a right to be proud of our history. Now the world has changed. There's no question that the world has changed. And so for many of us, maybe my journey of integration should have started earlier. When I look at high school, it would have helped if I understood what it meant to go to school with white kids at an earlier age. Or when I went to college, a college of about 30,000, and we had less than 3% of the community were African Americans, or working for a large corporation like General Motors. Well, obviously the organization is predominantly white. And so I think we need to learn that the world is different. It's diverse. And so we need to learn about other communities, other ethnic groups at an earlier age. And you find that no ethnic group is better than any other. You have to learn that, at an earlier age. It's just different. It doesn't mean that any one group is inferior because they speak a different language, they don't speak English, or that their English is broken. That has nothing to do with success or intelligence. Now, you're going to have to be, in order to be successful, you're going to have to know some things. But I think starting off, it's good to know about your history. It's good to learn about your community. And a lot of that, as I look back on my life, and again, this is my journey, the church was important to me, because you learn to worship God, the creator God, the God of the universe in the person of Jesus Christ, with your own people group, with African Americans. And you learn that, hey, God loves African Americans. God loves black folks. And sometimes if you're not careful, you can grow up in a community and say, well, you know, how come no one likes me? Or how come my skin color is different? Why do you even think it's different or it's inferior? Well, if you grow up in a community and you look around, you see that, wow, things are different. Why don't I have what they have? You may think, well, God doesn't love me. Where did you learn that from? You know, you may learn that from the dominant community. That's why I think it's good. The good part of growing up in a community with those that are like you, who speak the same language, who have had the same experiences, there is encouragement, there is affirmation, and that's needed. You may have a broken family, but the community encourages you. And now, when it comes time to go outside of your community, which eventually you're going to do, things are going to be different. You're going to be competing with other kids. You're going to be working with other individuals. But you have to have confidence in yourself that you can make it. And you learn that earlier, I think, in your community. I don't want to necessarily call it a segregated community, but that's just the way that it may be segregated. Most of the people are like you, look like you, talk like you. And there's affirmation and reinforcement in that. However, you just can't live there in the world that we live in today. You're gonna have to learn about other cultures. You're gonna have to appreciate that there are other languages that are spoken. And you learn that in a diverse community. You're going to learn politics, i.e. the Democrats and the Republicans. You're going to learn about the economics. There are different approaches to different things. Well, that's in a diverse community, and you're going to learn that. So you just can't live in this one community because people in that one community are going to just think like you, act like you, talk like you, and dress like you. But the world is different. Therefore, the positive side of living in a diverse community and growing up in a diverse community is that you can learn that at an early age. Starting with kindergarten and first grade, there's the advantage of going to school with kids that are different from you, that don't look like you, that don't talk like you, versus everybody looking like you and talking like you. So I think there's advantages to both sides of that story. My particular viewpoint is the earlier the better. The world is changing, and it's going to continue to change. And as we grow older, you're going to find that you're going to find less communities where there's segregation. There's going to be more diverse communities where that's opening up, where kids speak different languages, that they don't look like you, they don't act like you, they don't dress like you. And the earlier that happens, I think the better you will be prepared to live out your calling in the community and in the nation that God has called you to.